So when we come to sit with the wheel of the year and the changes of the seasonal cycles, I personally have been lighting the sacred fires, the sacred hearth fires at home, and working with the intention of ash. So the release and the letting go of what is no longer serving, decluttering the home, working with our physical bodies, and spending some time in deep reflection around what it is that has caused suffering or heart pain. A lot of people are feeling the grief and loss and the release. So relationships have been ending or changing in form. People have had to move home. Life changes. The only constant thing in life is change. So the equinox gateway is different if you're in the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere. So we are seasonal witches, and we work with our seasons around us, our environment, listening to what nature wishes to share with us. And so when we reflect on the ash, it reminded me of the mythology with Demeter and Persephone, her daughter. And so at the equinox gateway of autumn here in the southern hemisphere, it's represented when Persephone left her mother's side and journeyed to the underworld. And there, through the cauldron of winter, she was initiated from being a young maiden core into Persephone, queen of the underworld. And she rises again on the spring equinox 6 months later. However, as life transpires, as parents, we don't always know where our children are or what they are doing, because they are forging their own pathway, their own destiny, their own identity. And Demeter was unaware of where her beautiful daughter Persephone had gone. So she was grief-stricken. And she roamed the lands and withdrew the gift of fertility from the lands and from the people. And so we have the story of winter. And she roamed the lands, mourning for the loss of her daughter, and she was wearing rags and covered her face in ash as a sign of this deep grief and loss. And we've all sat in those places of deepest grief and loss that have been out of our control with life. And so we have to sit in this place and draw on our beautiful resources and tools and medicine. And as the wheel of the year turns and changes, so too does Persephone's journey and initiation into the underworld, where she gains great wisdom and insight. And when she rises reborn at the equinox gateway, she returns to Demeter, her mother. And Demeter, overjoyed, gives the gift of fertility back to the people. And this is what we know as the return of spring. So for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, you've entered into the spring equinox, the spring gateway. Change is afoot. And for us here in the Southern Hemisphere, we're diving deep into the winter cauldron. So the reflection today, beautiful people, is working with the sacred fires, burning the sacred fire, whether it's a candle, an actual fire in your home, in the fireplace, reflecting on what is tender and sacred to your heart. What are the shifts that need to happen to let go? How do you tend to yourself when you're going through incredible grief and loss? Using this time with deepest intention and sacredness to release the old, to use gratitude in your heart for what has not come to fruition in this cycle, in the sacred harvest, as we release old identities of who we think or thought we are or were. We're diving deep into the cauldron of winter of rebirth. So tending to the sacred fires, tending to your loved ones, spending time supporting yourself emotionally and spiritually with your devotional practices, and also looking at the time that you spend in Mother Nature and giving great thanks for these cycles and seasons, for there is great wisdom and teachings that come through these transitional portals, and especially with the celestial template that is activating at this very potent time for you. So just trusting in the process, allowing deepest compassion in the heart space for wherever you are in your emotional landscape, whether you are associating with Demeter or whether you are feeling the call of Persephone. Allowing your footsteps to walk the magic upon the earth each day, and acknowledging in this place the sacred cycles of the year. So thank you for joining me. This is Michaela from Star Witch Astrology, and there will be more sacred storytelling with the creational myths and also reflections on the celestial templates that allow us to stay in the cosmic flow and cycles as we walk through life and integrate the magic. So go well, be free, and allow the magic to blossom in your heart space at this time. Thank you.